Joining me now is South Carolina Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Congresswoman, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
What is your reaction to President Biden's trip to France? What are your takeaways?
Well, in just the video you just saw there, a very frail and out of it president of the United States, which really weakens us on the world stage. He could barely walk. He could barely stand upright. He could barely form a sentence, and he wouldn't answer reporters' questions. And this weakens us on the world stage. And all I can think about is how quickly we can get a stronger leader, both physically and mentally, back into the White House. November cannot come fast enough.
On the Middle East, the Biden administration continues pushing Hamas to accept a deal for a ceasefire. Here's National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan.
Hamas hides among civilian infrastructure, hides underground, and puts the Palestinian people in harm's way. There could be a ceasefire if Hamas would just step up and say yes to the deal that the Israelis have accepted and that President Biden elaborated a week ago. So the world should call on Hamas to take this deal.
Do you think that deal will ever happen?
No, it never will happen. As if a terrorist organization like Hamas or Hezbollah or somebody is going to negotiate for peace in the Middle East. No, but you know, when we did have peace in the Middle East, it was under Donald Trump, who brought us the Abraham Accords, because under his leadership, we didn't have Hamas invading Israel. We didn't have the Houthis in Yemen trying to bomb U.S. military assets in the Middle East. We also didn't have Russia invading Ukraine. We were all a lot safer around the world, including our allies, when Donald Trump was president, because when you look at their back-to-back presidencies, the contrast could not be any more different.
I covered the pro-Palestinian rally outside the White House yesterday, where they tried to create a human red line around the White House. Here's one of the lead organizers of that event.
Joe Biden, you may speak in our name, but not with our consent. We charge you with genocide. That if Joe Biden's red line was a fiction, that it was a lie, that it was an act of deception, that it was designed to make us become quiet.
Is President Biden in trouble with young voters and in states like Michigan, a battleground state with large Arab and Muslim populations?
Oh, absolutely. Joe Biden is in trouble with the Hamas wing of the Democrat Party. And the irony here is we just heard Jake Sullivan admit that Hamas uses civilians and commit genocide with their own innocent civilian people. And yet these folks think that there'll be peace in the Middle East with a ceasefire, and there just won't be. These people need to be eradicated off the face of the earth. The United States should support Israel and the IDF to do everything in their power possible to get rid of Hamas so that they no longer exist, because this doesn't end with Israel. This is jihad. This is jihadism. Israel is the tip of the spear. Today it's Israel, but the next it'll be the West. It'll be the United States. They will come after us until we're all gone. We have got to eradicate terrorism in the Middle East.
It struck me that there seemed to be a lot of college students out there yesterday at that rally that we're showing our audience right now. What does that say to you about indoctrination on our college campuses?
Well, these college campuses shouldn't be getting U.S. taxpayer dollars or subsidies from the U.S. government to indoctrinate our children, to indoctrinate our students. This is absurd. We've all seen videos of Jewish students who could not and cannot go to class on U.S. college campuses. This is not 1944 Nazi Germany. These people are bigots. These people are Jew haters, and they shouldn't be on our college campuses. If you love Hamas so much, go to Gaza. See how long you last on a roof in Gaza. I can tell you it won't be very long.
I was also struck that they were defacing some of the statues there outside the White House. It makes you wonder if authorities will go after them. There are cameras all over that park. Will they actually go after the people who defaced federal property?
They never will, because they have a D by their name. We know how Republicans and conservatives are treated by the Department of Justice and the FBI versus Antifa, versus Hamas sympathizers, versus violence on these college campuses, versus Black Lives Matter. They don't get held to the same standard as everybody else does. They'll get a free hall pass, absolutely, in this.
President Biden will return to Europe for the G7 summit. What are your expectations?
I have no expectations for this president. I expect other world leaders to mock the United States, to mock Joe Biden, to mock the administration, who clearly don't know what they're doing, who clearly are not operating from a position of strength. All we are doing is projecting weakness around the world, weakness for our allies. And that is why there is so much turmoil in the Middle East. That is why the Houthis are bombing U.S. assets in the Middle East. That is why Hamas felt the need that they could invade Israel. That's why Putin invaded Ukraine, because look at this guy. He is not a leader on the world stage. We need strength in the White House. That means we need Donald Trump in November. It cannot come fast enough.
Congresswoman Nancy Mace of the great state of South Carolina, thank you so much for your time today.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.